Hello, I'm Daniela. Today's video is another in the series of Inspiration to Implementation. It's where I explain to you where I got my inspiration for a particular art project that I completed. Artists can find inspiration anywhere. Actually, all of us can find inspiration anywhere, and that's what makes life so exciting. I like to find inspiration in the everyday, just things that are normally mundane. Sometimes when I'm just going for a walk or going to the grocery store, I might see something interesting. Something as simple as seeing a label at the grocery store can spark inspiration. The journey that I'm going to talk about today was a little more convoluted, but just equally enjoyable. Now, as most of you know from my channel, I enjoy birds. I enjoy seeing birds in the wild, their coloring, their feathering, and even their habits and the way they fly. There's just something about them that's very intriguing to me. My husband bought me a bird feeder. Now, this bird feeder isn't like a standard old school bird feeder. It's not a little house on a pole that you fill with seed. This bird feeder, well, you fill with seed just the same, but when a bird lands to take some of the seed, it sends a picture to my phone, a little notification telling me that there's a bird there. And it can even identify the bird if I go through the app and push another button. Now, that came in very handy for me because down here in Florida, I'm not as familiar with some of these songbirds and these flying birds as you might think. I'm really familiar with the northern birds, so learning about the Florida birds is something that I'm really enjoying and want to get a little more proficient at. The bird feeder, though, had its struggles. Like any bird feeder, I wound up feeding the squirrels. So for the first week, the only birds that came to my feeder were the kind with the long furry tail that didn't fly. I persevered and stuck with it. We moved the feeder around a few times until we found just the right spot. And then we started to get birds. It was very exciting. First bird that I got was a blue jay. Well, I've seen those before, but I've never seen them up close like this. The tail feathers, it's like a mosaic. They're striking. The blue feathers are unusual. So that was very interesting, and I felt like, wow, this is really exciting. So after that, I've got a series of birds that came along. Brown thrashers, even doves came to the bottom of the feeder to eat the seed off the ground. But then there was a little bird that came to the feeder that really intrigued me, and that became my inspiration for this project. Wasn't sure what the bird was, so I had to push that little button on the app to identify it. Turned out it was a house sparrow, and I got a nice up-close view of this tiny little bird. It's a beautiful bird with lots of interesting colors, warm tones, oranges, browns. Oh, gorgeous. And that became the inspiration. I made a few sketches, and then from there, I decided I wanted to do a watercolor. So I made a few watercolors. Some came out better than others, which is the case with watercolor. And I found one that I really liked. So I took that image and was inspired by it. And I decided I wanted to create a watercolor painting, so I created one. I created a few, but this is the one that I actually wound up really liking the most. Now from there, I scanned it into my computer, and I just took the image of that sparrow. Thought it was really cute. I liked his expression. I liked the way he was looking. So I took that image and had it made into vinyl stickers. They're just individual stickers, and they come off the backing, so it's just the image of the bird here, of the house sparrow. Just like that. It's a cute little image. I also keep one on my laptop. I like the sticker in my other works as well. These are currently up on Redbubble for sale. I'll include the link in the show notes as well. But it's just a way that you can take something in your everyday life, create artwork with it, and then go further and create artwork that you can use in different ways. So instead of having just a painting, I have the stickers. And this all came from just observing what's around me and feeding the birds. So I took the inspiration that came from the bird feeder, and more birds came along too. It was very exciting. A cardinal came along, and a grackle. And the grackle has beautiful iridescent colors on its black feathers, so it looks blue or green sometimes. I think I'm seeing another project in the works. This was so intriguing to me because it was something that was right in my backyard, under my nose, that I didn't really know until we examined it through the lens of the bird feeder. That's right, the lens of a bird feeder. Welcome to 2023. So that's kind of an interesting way that I took something in my everyday life and used it as inspiration for a project. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. If you found this video helpful, please consider becoming a member of my channel. As a member, you have access to a library with different art techniques, mostly with the slow stitching, but there are some others thrown in there. There's also behind-the-scenes footage of different techniques and projects that I'm working on, and there'll be some member-only polls. I hope you'll consider that. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe because that really helps the channel. Thanks so much for joining me.